friends, welcome to the flower farm. Today I'm going to show you start to finish how I pot up our tomatoes, wool or anything, into little non-woven bags that we use. And we've been using those for several years. I love them so much. They're especially good for plants that don't like their roots disturbed, like squash and beans and sunflowers. So let's get started. I always get some questions when I mention these non-woven bags, so I figured I'll do a whole tutorial on how we use them. So this is what the finished product is going to look like. Well, maybe not the finished product, because the actual plant will be bigger once it's grown and it's ready for either planting or ready for sale. And you can see the little seedling in there. This is a tomato that we just potted up. Now, these tomatoes started off in bread pans, just like this. And you can see these are little spoon tomatoes, those itty bitty ones that Baker Creek sells. And I'm getting ready to transfer them over. We will be selling these at our farm stand this year, and of course keeping a couple for ourselves. Here is what the bags look like. These are the itty bitty bags. I don't use many of these. I accidentally ordered these. I did find some use for them, but actually the size that I prefer and the size that I showed you is this. It's about 3.5 by 4.5. This is the size that I prefer and that I've been using for years. I did find success with this one. This one's better for things that grow really fast. So I put any of my squashes in here. I put sunflowers in here. I grew out a lot of pro cuts last year, and that was great. Sunflowers do not transplant well, neither do squash, neither do certain vines. They just don't like their roots being disturbed. So I found like this is perfect. I will say these non-woven bags, they say in the description that they're biodegradable. I have not seen that. When I have dug through my garden in the next season, I still find these bags in the ground, but the roots have grown through them, and a lot of times they've broken down a little bit, so maybe it takes longer to biodegrade. But I usually just, if I find them, I just go like this, the rest of the dirt falls out, and I throw the bag away. But it serves its purpose. It serves its purpose of being easily transportable for sale. I don't have to buy solo cups. I don't have to buy plastic. I don't have to buy stacks and stacks of something. They store super flat. This is how they come. I bought a pack of 400 for $11 in my preferred size here. And they're just so easy to store and keep, and season by season. So I showed you this size. And then I ordered these on accident a couple of years ago, and they are very big, but I did use them, and they have a great use. So look how big these things are. It's folded on the side, and then it puffs up, and look how deep it is. So what I did when I used them, they just seemed super sturdy. I like them so much for some of the sunflowers that I did. So I folded it over. You can see the bottom becomes kind of a box. This year I am going to plant loofah in these, and loofah grows very fast. We will not put our loofah out until May 1st. I plan on putting the seeds in these bags today. That's 2 months worth of growth. These are going to be pretty hefty plants by the time they're ready to go out. But that's my intention. I want to sell them at the farm stand. I want to make sure they're big and healthy when they go out. We will be growing them all along the east fence here on our backyard. So I will need several of them. I'm going to put them in grow bags. So I'm super excited about these this year. I just feel like that double-sided right here, because I folded it over, is really going to do a great job of kind of containing the plant. A lot of times if you have something in here for a long time, there will be a lot of roots, and the bag will get a little fragile because it does start breaking. So, even though I don't find that it's completely biodegradable, they do start breaking in the soil because the roots will push them apart. So that's what the bags look like. I already have several made up, but I want to show you what we've learned is the best way to get these filled. If you underfill them, they end up super floppy and they're not a great time to work with. But you can see mine are pretty solid, especially on the bottom. The soil's a little looser on top, and I'm gonna explain that process. So this is my big box of potting soil that I keep in the sunroom, and I will show you how I do this. These are some of the old bread pans. I'm going to reuse them as I start some more seeds. Let me find the pens that I've been using so I can show you exactly how we're doing this. So you're gonna need something about this size. Last year we used the big Sharpies that are a little bit bigger than this, and today when we go to Menards, I'm going to buy some dowels. I really need some dowels that are this size and then the other size as well. This is the other pen that I've been using, and I'll show you how we use that. But instead of using pens, because then we end up needing the pens to write something, I'm just gonna buy some dowels, cut them to about this size, and then I'll have the tools that I need. So the first thing I do is open this up. This is probably the trickiest part, but again, it's not that hard. And then I just pour it in here. Now Jill has used this cup here to dump stuff in, and she likes that better. What we do is we'll fill it all the way to the top. But you can see it's very loose. I haven't tamped it down, so it's very loose in there. And then, after we've shaken it down a little bit, I'll take this pen and push it down. So I'm pushing it down, not super hard, because these bags will break, but just making it firm. This helps give it stability, it stands up better. I feel like the plant does better. It's definitely easier to work with. So you can see about half of the bag is filled with this tamped down, pretty solid potting soil now. Now, for the rest of the bag, I'm just gonna put the soil in like this. And I will push it down a little bit with my fingers, but not nearly as hard as that first bit that I put in there. So now let's talk about how we get the plant in there. And the next step is to create a hole to put the plant in. Oh, I gotta take the plants out of their little bread pan here. I use a big spoon for that. I just gently lift them up, try to leave the roots intact. You can see they come out pretty easy. Look at that. Tomatoes are so hardy. You can literally just pull them out, leave their roots kind of dangling, and especially since we're just gonna quickly transplant them, they will be no worse for wear. You know how sometimes when you transplant plants or they have some sort of trauma, they get sad? Tomatoes do not do that. They are really hardy, and they won't look like you've done anything to them. I think that's all. Oh, there's one. Okay, so let's put these little guys in here. I've got my one bag that we just made. Take my trusty pen. I'm gonna put the hole in here. A small hole. Probably can't see that, but there's a little hole in there. And then I'm gonna take this little tomato and put it in up to its neck, just like we always do with tomatoes. And then when I transplant this back, I will do the same. I will dig a nice deep hole and put this tomato up to its neck. Oh, I just realized I only have one tag made. So I'm gonna steal the tag out of the bread pan and put it in here. And then I'll put it in the tray. And now it's going to live a happy life for several more months. And I will sell that at the farm stand. Here's the final product. One whole tray. Down here, another tray. There's 48 plants in each of these trays. And over here, half a tray. $3 per seedling, that's over $400 right there. And yeah, it took some work, but I was already out here messing around. So I'm excited to see you at the farm stand. Come by, get your flowers, and get your seedlings.